put patients' lives at risk, but you have to sympathise, because all they're earning right now is £128,000 a year, not forgetting their very lucrative private work, private medical work. If you just go round the corner from their picket lines outside the hospital, you'll see banks of Porsches and Aston Martins and Rolls Royces where they've left their cars. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous, isn't it?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's just the fact that these people can't see the optics when we're in a situation now where average working person can't afford to pay their energy bills or can't afford to put food on the table. And you've got these guys on 128k plus because of all of the extras that they get out there picketing. When we have like a huge backlog as well from lockdown, you have to ask yourself where we are at as a country, because this is an absolute, disaster for the left as well. I think they think they've got a shoe in now for the next general election. And we've got, what we're seeing is what very much seems to be a sort of coordinated general strike. We've got 1 week after another, just to keep it in the headlines, just to keep the momentum up that the Labour Party are going to get in at the next general election, just keep that pressure going. And what the average person on the street is doing is looking at this and go, what planet are they on?
Yeah.
We can't afford to pay our bills thanks to the policies, the lockdown policies. We've got people who are cancer patients who have been massive long waiting lists. And you've got consultant doctors out on a picket line. This is just a completely two different universes of those inside the M25 and those outside the M25. And I don't think it's actually going to do the Labour Party any good if this sort of coordinated strike after strike carries on, because sooner or later people are going to be like, well, actually, this is looking a little bit too convenient.
Yeah, I mean, for all these other strikes, the transport strikes, the rail strikes, the tube strikes, all that, I mean, as I say, I do feel sorry for everyone who they inconvenience, but as a nation, we all know the place we've come to on this, isn't it? We're just going, Mick Lynch is on a picket line again. Go ahead, carry on. I've got to do it until Christmas. Yeah, fine, go ahead. You're not getting your money. But these £128,000 a year, I said yesterday about these consultants. Now, when you go on an official strike, you might find this surprising, but many, many years ago, as a very young journalist, I went on strike. We had to, NUJ and all that. And because you're on an official strike, you get strike money. It's not very much, but your union does pay you something. So I'll be very interested to know whether these £128,000 a year consultants are getting union picket money while they're standing outside these hospitals, because as well as being on strike, they are allowed to do their incredibly lucrative private work. So they might be getting like 10 quid a week or 10 quid a day or something from their union while earning hundreds of thousands of pounds in private work. It's a through the looking glass, Alice in Wonderland, bizarre sight to see these. Loads of these people will be millionaires, I'll guarantee you.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying, the people who actually care about the NHS, the people who sort of feel that, we should do the right thing by nurses, are just going to be absolutely baffled by this protest, like you said, this strike, because if they are still getting money, certainly that's going to be an outrageous thing, but they'll be getting all of their private money as well. And it's just, I'm sorry, just looking at the video of them there, it's just absolutely shocking, isn't it, that they think that is going to be good PR for them. Everybody's going to be sitting there thinking, I'm in the waiting line to get my hip operated on. I'm in the queue for this. I can't see a GP. Most people can't see a GP anymore. You have to do it over the phone, and it's outrageous that these people think that they can hold the country to account to hostage like this.
Absolutely, and when you can't get to see a consultant on the NHS, they'll tip you the wink. Oh, if you see me privately, I'll see you tomorrow. If you give me hundreds of pounds or thousands of pounds, I'll see you tomorrow. That's the way I don't mind that. That's commerce. That's they're highly qualified people. And it may be that, because of inflation and all that, they deserve some kind of bump in their massive salaries. But, come on, you can't stand there and say, more than £128,000, please. I mean, come on, forget it. And, of course, underpinning this is the absolute fact fact that when frontline medical workers go on strike, I'm talking about nurses, I'm talking about ambulance drivers, I'm talking about junior doctors, and now hospital consultants, patients die. We've got all the lefties right now going, oh, people are dying because of climate change. But what about the people who are dying because of these medical strikes? We don't hear any wailing about that, do we?
Absolutely, we don't. And the thing is, it's inexcusable, as you say, that they're on a very high wage as it is. And you look at the average person whose salaries haven't gone up, people who are running small businesses, people in the private sector, people in the retail sector that's been absolutely decimated. And they're sitting there, having to pay the taxes that are funding these people. And then you've got them going on strike, not caring about the length of the waiting lines and that kind of thing. So it's just that it's two separate worlds, and the average person just does not understand how these consultants have got the front to be out there striking.
If there are any consultants watching, I hope you don't get your pay rise. If it's up to me, I'd put your wages in half. For every day you're on strike, we take more money off you. Nobody cares about your strike. Nobody cares about people who earn £128,000 a year, you idiots. Thank you very much, Rebecca. I'll talk to you again next week. Thank you very much. That's social and political commentator Rebecca Ryan. She's also, of course, director of Defund the BBC.